you don't know what SIDS are and you've always wondered, well, today is your lucky day. I'm at a SIDS youth conference and it's really exciting. We're here in Nandi, we got here yesterday. Now, first and foremost, I'd just like to say that there's a whole group of young people that are so committed to what they do. It's really inspiring. A lot of the times, as a youth activist, you might feel a little bit discouraged by the environment that you work in, and it might not be as supportive as you would like, but all the people around you, that's what really makes the work that you do worthwhile. So here's what happened today. We had the president of Fiji open the event with some pretty good remarks, in fact, and then we had morning tea, and after that kind of launched basically the rest of the day of each delegate kind of getting to know one another. We were put into groups, we did quite a bit of work looking at hopes and fears and so on and so forth, and I feel that at the end of the day we all kind of know something new about somebody else. Now, what are SIDS? They're small island developing states. Now, these include states in the Pacific, that's basically countries in the Pacific, as well as the Caribbean, and I think some Asian countries as well. SIDS have come a long way, and I believe they were first recognized in 1992. And the most important thing is not only were they recognized, but it was recognized that SIDS have special needs. While more recently, SIDS have been recognized to shift away from being known as one of the least developed countries, it's still been identified that there's a lot of work that needs to be done, but there have been international commitments to work harder to help small island developing states. In the beginning, the SIDS priorities were development, just as they are now. But what has changed more recently is the fact that development doesn't just remain an issue for the environment or for infrastructure. Development priorities have branched out to include important areas like tourism and energy, but there's been development to understand development as a human issue. So that means you're looking at the issues of people, you're looking at the issues of young people, of women, of people with disabilities, of people of diverse sexual orientation and gender identity, that is the LGBTIQ community. So I'm going to be here until next week, and you'll get daily updates about what people are talking about, particularly tomorrow, as we as young people define our issues from across the Pacific. So thanks for watching, stay tuned, you've been watching a FemVid, and I'll see you next time.
My name is
You're watching FemVids. We're still at the SIDS Youth Conference, and today was formally day 2. Today was fairly heavy with a lot of issues being discussed, not to mention the hard task of solving the issues.
There were 11 regional issues, but we prioritized 6.
Those prominent 6 being education, good governance, youth employment, inclusivity, climate change, and crime and violence.
Many discussions happened, firstly in sub-regions with Fiji on its own, and then interests, and then kind of randomly in groups.
This was all to contribute to our vision of the Pacific as young people, because it was said,
Sight is the function of the eye, vision is the function of the heart.
While not forgetting how our issues relate to the rest of the world. Formal work aside, we came to know one of our fellow delegates a little bit better with some help with sign language. Thank you. This has been another episode of FemVids. See you next time.
Thank you.
So it's day 3 of the SIDS Youth Conference here in Nandi, and today was pretty inspirational. Now today was really heavy. That is, there was so much work that was done today, but in all honesty, it massively paid off. The work revolved around understanding the difference between leaders and leadership and different kinds of leaders and authority, and so on and so forth. There was also a bit of work on the outcomes document, not to mention another look at some of the solutions to specific issues. And from that came the commitments to action. This being, I suppose, the most inspiring part of the day, how so many young people were so committed to do some things that might be considered very small for a lot of people, but is the groundwork to much greater work. Inspiration came also from a panel discussion at the beginning of the day that is drawn from a lot of the personal stories and experiences of some of the youth that were participating here at the workshop. So if there's really anything that I learned today that I suppose would be the most important to share, it would be that as youth, as young people of the Pacific, and as people of the world, we need to stand up, work with each other, and create change. Now tomorrow isn't really a very formal or official day, but I suppose I'll bring you the results of tonight's culture night tomorrow, rather than try to put something together at like 9 o'clock. So, thank you very much. You've been watching another FemVid. Subscribe, and I'll see you next time. You're watching FemVids, and we're still at the youth conference in Nandi. Now, last night was pretty fun. We had our culture night and our talent night kind of mixed into one, and as amazing as it was, it did kind of make us all realize that we're coming towards the end of the conference. All the emotions aside, let's look and see what it was like. Now today was the second last day, and there was so much work done around kind of closing up and looking at a bit more strategies, particularly around using media and the appropriate media as well. We close on up tomorrow, so expect a huge summary as well as the outcomes tomorrow evening. Thanks so much, that's pretty much it. You can find a playlist of all the videos from the SIDS Youth Conference, as well as links to things about SIDS and SIDS Youth down in the description.